Story time. Story time. Welcome into story time. Yeah. Enjoy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Yanta, and this is the continuing of the series Chasing Yanta Tania. This is episode 6, and this will be talking about my regrets working at Tyler Perry Studios. Like, what? You have regrets working at Tyler Perry Studios? Yeah, I have one or two, which is unfortunately the main memories of working there. But before we continue, let's recap. Last episode was episode 5, where we talked about film school. We talked about learning how to do my first script, pitching film school, producing my first film, directing, writing, all my insecurities that all of a sudden came out of middle of nowhere. Like, I didn't even know I had so much insecurities. Like, I knew I had some issues, but I don't think I ever really felt them until starting film school writer's room. Now, all these did not die at film school. They just followed me to Tyler Perry Studios. And let's talk about that. So, how did I get to work at Tyler Perry Studios? So, I did not tell you guys on my last project, hair project, graduation project, my school received an email stating that they needed students as interns to work for, I guess, having the have-nots. I don't remember which episode. I'm gonna find it for you guys. And if loving you is wrong, and the very, very first, if maybe not the very first, but maybe about why did I move to Georgia, why film school, when I talked about the how I got into film school. I think before I even started that, I think I mentioned how the reason why I found about my school to begin with is because I was trying to figure out, how do you work for Tyler Perry Studios? And then we found out that they work through certain organizations, through certain programs. And researching those programs, I found about Clinton State University, right? Well, that was that time. They were looking for these interns, those people through these programs for interning for If Loving You Is Wrong is, and I can't think, the haves and the have-nots for that season. And guess who was part of those programs at that time? I was, except we needed to turn in resumes, and it was right in the middle of us crazy, losing our mind, trying to get our films together, trying to graduate, and it was crazy, right? And I don't know how many people submitted their resumes, but what I knew is, I don't care how much craziness I was going through, I was going to do my due diligence, by all means morally necessary, to make sure my resume was up to par and submit it to whoever it needed to be submitted to, so that I can make it. So that's what I did. Lost some sleep nights. I think I did some business cards. I'm not sure why I even did the business cards, but did my resume, did some business cards, did my research, submitted and I waited. We graduate, and I haven't heard anything from them. We graduate, I think, in July. And between graduation and Tyler Perry Studios, quite a few things happens, rather. So I graduate, I go home, and by the time I go home, I decided I wasn't just gonna do an idle summer, because we were scheduled to start at Tyler Perry Studios if we got in, or once I heard something, I think in August. So so I must have graduated June 25th, because there was like a month in between, I think. Anyways, so I go home, and on my way home, I was like, I want to do a short film. I want to see if I learned anything from film school, and if I could actually apply what I learned, and if I could actually survive as a filmmaker, right? Independent filmmaker. So I text it had to have been either days before my graduation, after my graduation, somewhere in between there. I text my Uranta production peeps, and I was like, "Y'all want to do a short films?" And they were like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay." So I came up with a concept. I don't remember where the concept came from, and on my way on the blue bus. Mega bus, they're called. It's a big blue bus because I never had money to fly back and forth from home to home, from school, whatever. So I was on the mega bus on my way back. Obviously, school was done. I packed all my stuff that I had with me in Georgia. Asked my godmother if I could leave them here until I figure out what I'm going moving forward, what I'm doing moving forward. And took a little bit that I could with me and got on the blue bus, mega bus, and I'm in a waiting period to see if I get into Tyler Perry Studios, right? On my way there, took me 4 hours, came up with the concept of Generation After, which is my first short film outside of school, and wrote that on the bus. And when I was done with it, I think I sent it to Durana, and when we got there, I met up with her and we went over it. We changed a few things and we talked about the processing of producing a film. Everything I learned from school, I just put them down on paper and explained how we're going to move forward based on what I know. And we went full throttle with that. We casted for it and we just went on. We only had a certain amount of time. And I told her, this is the time I'm working with because if I make it into Tyler Perry Studios, I'll have to leave by this time, although I haven't heard from them. At the same time, I found out another opportunity through campus. I think they call Campus Movie Fest or something like that. It's an organization that tours campuses, and they get like college campuses. They have them compete and create, I think, a 5-minute film to compete for, awards and etc. Right, and get into the film festival. They premiere them and kids win award, best actors, best whatever. And I think our school participated when we were there, and that was the first film set I was on because we're competing to get into that. I can't remember if we got in or what happened with it. I just remember that was my first film set experience because it was very, very early on, and now I'm pretty sure we're in our first film writing class. So that was very early on, but we still did it. Anyways, since that was in the beginning, so that would have been 2017. So I graduated 2018, and this is coming around again. And they were hiring for tour managers. And while I wasn't fully qualified, I wanted the job. So I applied. So I was in between. When that came around, I applied. So it's like, okay, I really want that job. And it's like a couple months and it's better pay and it's a bigger experience campusing across the state, different colleges with other filmmakers and managing those tours, or always wanting to work at Tyler Perry Studio. Matter of fact, they're the reason why I found out about Clinton State and why I moved to Georgia in the first place, and not knowing if I get both, what will I do? And trying to do the short film in the summer. And that was crazy within itself because the person we casted, the person we casted for the main character, I forgot the main character name. That's crazy. I created her. Anyways, the person we casted for that last minute dropped out. The person who was supposed to be a cinematographer last minute dropped out. And we didn't have a sound person. So last minute we have a shooting time frame because once again, I'm trying to make this work within a month and a half, whatever, before I get an answer with rather it will be Tyler Perry or the campus manager position. And they're contradicting with each other because Tyler Perry's studio position was only about, I think, 8 weeks or 6 weeks. I can't remember. So I'm trying to make this movie in a small amount of time, premiere it and everything, right? So we can't move shooting date because we don't have much time because I'm not here. So last minute, I think like 2 days before we have to shoot, I forced Duana to I forced Duana to cast for it because it's like, okay, today we don't do this or we move forward. So if we're gonna move forward, somebody have to do it, and I think you could fit it. She's never acted a day in her life, but it's like, if we're gonna do this, let's go, right? So that's how she ended up became the main character of Generations After. I forced her. I think a guy, well, he wasn't a friend, he was a stranger, saw our casting call for crew and decided that he had a boom mic and he was gonna help and or lend it to us. So that's how I met Enoch Doristan, extremely talented Haitian brother, man, super dope talented. His art is off the chart. If I can find his page, some of his art, I will post them up. I will post them up. That's how we became friends. So we started working on that, and I mean, so that's how we met, and wasn't even sure if it was really gonna show up, if he'd come through, but he did. And he had to work, of course, so he let us land his boom mic. I don't remember how many days of shooting we did. Was it 1 or 2? I think we did 2 days of shooting. Anyways, we casted for as much as we could. I think we had a Mua hairstylist or whatever. Had to find a location, obviously. So we Airbnb something and found that location and asked the lady if it was okay if we shot in her house. So we did that. There was some craziness, but it's its own story that I don't think I need to get into because this is about Tyler Perry Studios, right? And I'm trying not to make this long. Anyway, so we do Generations After. We shoot. We find a student editor, we edit, we premiere. Premiering was crazy as well because we find a place. I spent days and days and days. Did we raise funds for that? I spent days and days and days and days and days and days and days looking for a place. I think we raised funds. People cash up us money. I think I may have some pictures of those somewhere. I don't know if we spent our own money. I don't remember all the details right now. I'm pretty sure we spent our own money or whatever money we had. Joanna had her own camera that we used. So I ended up, so because the cinematographer last minute, I ended up being on camera and forced the kids to be on sound, whatever, trying to figure it out, right? Anyways, we decided we're gonna premiere it. We're supposed to find a space. We find a space. The day of, we blowing up the guy who was the person we were supposed to get his space for, and he doesn't pick up. So people are showing up to our location. We're trying to figure out what we're doing, and I'm like upset and I'm ready to cry. So Elika, who's my friend, was like, girl, okay, I'm gonna call the church, see if I can get somebody and we're gonna move it to the church. I say, you figure it out. Her and Sephora or like trying to help, and I'm ready to cry. And like my first premiere outside of school is like a mess. Like I was like stressed and upset and mad, and it's like I'm trying to do this film and I did it finally, and now it's time to premiere. Contact this person is not showing up, whatever. So she calls the church. They was like, yeah, you can get it done. So I have to get everything with me, rush to the church. She stayed behind. Her and Sephora stays, I think she stayed behind. Sephora help. I don't remember all that happened. All I remember is that they help get everybody, contact everybody and move them or redirect them to the church. Get to the church, set up. On my way to the church, I'm boohoo crying. Okay, y'all, I'm crying because I'm frustrated. I'm upset. I don't know what word to apply, but I'm trying to move things, okay? My emotions are high. We're trying to make everything work. And it's the last minute, it's the last draw or the last moving part. I don't know what to say. I just know we do everything in our power to premiere to shoot this film to cast, and things are not working out. We're making it work and we're pushing forward. We get it edited and it's time to premiere and things are still not working. It is just like, why is everything always fighting me all the time? Like, can we just do something that is smooth for once? Like, gosh. It's always a fight. And the fight that was barely a fight in comparison to everything else that unraveled from here. Anyways, so we get to the church, we set up, blah, blah, blah. I get dressed. We premiere the film. It's only about 12 minutes? Generations after. I'll try to link it up for you guys. And obviously we do it through Yanta production, which you guys should know by now how that started if you've been watching. And yeah, we premiered it. We had Q&A. We took pictures and it went well. I think I gave a little story about how we went about doing it. Within that time, I think we had also found out that our school director, Glenn Beer, rest his soul, went missing and they found him dead. And it's like, that was another high emotional situation for me, because last episode I talked about how the most beautiful part of my school experience was the fact that our teacher and our director and our program administrator cared about us and they wanted us to succeed and they gave us their best. And for me, that was family, given the fact that I left home and I went into an industry that's already difficult, that's not Christian friendly, that's not necessarily black or female friendly, and these people treat us like family and they took care of us. And on my experience, they were family, and the only thing I knew about filmmaking, and a part of me wanted to do well and prove to them, including a director, God rest his soul, that I value what you guys invested in us, and I want to make you proud. So for him to die, and he hadn't even gotten the chance to see my first film outside of him, by myself, zero budget, that really broke my heart. So trying to process through all of that and things are not working out was just like so hard for me. I remember crying, like, I'm pretty sure I cried for like 3 days. I don't know why I took it so hard, but I did. Anyways, we premiere was cool, whatever. And I still hadn't heard from Tyler Perry Studios nor the other school, and I was still torn in between which decision I needed to take. I think I had told my friend this, Sephora, this, and she was watching a sermon from a platform that we both follow. And in the sermon, I think the guy was talking about, I can't remember what he was. That was Pastor Torrey Roberts. I can't remember what the sermon was exactly about, but I think it was about being yourself and being who God calls you to be. And he gave, and how that opens door. And he gives the example of Tyler Perry and look at what he has done. And obviously listening to that made me feel like that was God's way of telling me that's the path I needed to go versus the other. I think somewhere in between that decision, though, they had to reach out to me and I didn't know what to do. And so when I heard that sermon, I responded back and I told them, okay, I will take the internship. Now, from the time they answer until the time that the internship would actually begin, I probably had 2 weeks or a week. I don't remember. But I do know it was small time again. Once again, short amount of time to work with almost nothing. So now I have to figure out how getting there, where am I gonna stay? Tyler Perry Studios wasn't in the city that my godmother was at. So I couldn't go there. There was no way I would be able to stay with her and working at Tyler Perry Studios doing that internship. Yes, it was paid. I think it was like $8.50. I don't remember. It was, like minimum wage. It was just an internship. But it was paid and it was a certain amount of time. So I had reached out to one of the producers that was part of About Face, my student film, Obviously we'd become friends working together, and I knew I reached out to different people and asked them like if they knew anybody who had a space that I could rent for a small amount of time, for a small amount, and etc. They said they didn't know anybody, but I feel like God was telling me to move forward regarding that. And as I pray and my devotions were talking about moving forward and going by faith, so I'm like, okay, well, I've always wanted to work at Talipri Studios, and it looked like I'm the only one in my class or in the program who made it in. So I wasn't sure if I was the only one who submitted a resume or if I just happened to be the only one who made it in. All I know is that this was an opportunity and I needed to take it. If I could graduate from school with nothing of my own and by faith, I'm gonna have to go with this by faith. So it was like, well, I'm taking this internship and I'm going. I don't know where I'm staying. So I think the day before I leave, my mom gave me some money, whatever she had, and I pack up whatever I had with me. Because keep in mind, when I left Georgia from school, I left most of my stuff over there. I had moved to Georgia, so I didn't have much stuff in Florida either. So whatever I had with me, whatever I had with me when I came home for that month and a half is all I had, okay? So the little money my mom gave me is all I had to survive, because whatever we did have resources, I also helped put it in that, short film that I was doing with Generations After. So I left. The internship was starting. I think I went I can't remember if I went on a Friday. I just knew I went a day or two before the internship started on that Monday. I went. I had one of the producer friends that picked me up from the bus station because they had a short film that they were doing. They wanted me to help with. It was like for a day or whatever. I went and I did that. And then she dropped me off. I lied. When I landed at Georgia, not landed, but when I reached Georgia on the megabus, one of the producer friend, not the one who I was helping with, the one I had asked, and she said she didn't know anybody. The moment I'm reaching Georgia and I have so much stress because I didn't know where I'm gonna go. Like I literally didn't know where I was gonna go. I'm on the bus on my way back to Georgia for an internship that's starting, and I have no idea where I'm gonna go. You guys hear me? Like no idea, okay? And I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, maybe I need to reach the land for God to provide the provision, okay? And I start thinking about Abraham and how he says, go to a place where I will show you. Because it's like, okay, you told me to go to school and I didn't have no money and I graduated. So if you're saying I'm supposed to do this internship, you have somewhere for me to stay and I just don't know yet. So I'm going to go. And when I get there, you're going to tell me, I guess. This is what I have in my head. And I am like, anxiety is like bubbling back and forth. And I'm like, I need to go to sleep, because this is too much. So I reach Georgia and my friend texts me the bus just parked. We hadn't even gotten off the bus. She texts me like, hey, are you in Georgia or in Florida? I said, I just reached Georgia. She said, did you ever find somewhere to stay? I said, nope. She said, what were you gonna do? I was like, I don't know. I was just coming by faith. She said, well, I was driving and it literally dawned on me that you're supposed to stay with me. And I'm like, oh God, this is why she has been so heavy in my heart all day. And I felt burdened for her. She's supposed to stay with me. And this is also why I couldn't find anybody. So she was like, if you're okay, I don't have a room, but you can crash on my couch and we'll discuss the rest when you get here. I said, bet. Cool. See you later. So once again, I had my other producer friend who was doing a short film who wanted my help. So I went and I helped her. She picked me up from the bus station. I helped her and then she dropped me back at the friend whose house I was staying in. So I get to the house. We talked about it. She was like, we talked about it and we talked about pricing and how much I'll be making, when I would be getting paid, and how much she's expecting from me. Nothing serious. I can't remember how much it was, but it was super low. But and it was super low, but enough to make a difference out of my check, but and also enough to keep me there. And it was then that she showed me where Tyler Perry Studio was when we talked about the address they gave me, and I realized how close it was to her house. Like I'm talking about driving like 5 minutes away, driving from her house. And that the bus stop goes into her neighborhood that I could get on. She told me which train station I needed to get on, helped me buy a card with the little money that my mom gave me, buy, my bus pass for the week or for the month. Oh, I can't remember the details on that, but she showed me what I needed to get to work and from work. And I realized how convenient it was. And I also realized there's no way I could have known that because we never discussed that before. Like Uber from her house to Tyler Perry Studios is like maybe $5 or 10 at most. That's how close. I could not have guessed that, and I could not have picked a better convenient place. I just couldn't, because I would not have known. We're already almost at 30 minutes, and I didn't even tell you guys the most important part. Oh my gosh, like this is too much. Okay, so yeah, so that's how I was crashing in her house, and I paid for my bus pass, and that probably was but I didn't have enough money to pay her. And like I didn't pay her right away. I paid her after I got my first paycheck, because whatever money I had, I was trying to make that stretch with everything. Bus pass, getting to there. I had to be there by 9. I think I did 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And so that's how I ended up finding out where I was going to stay. So really the parts about my regret part is the fact that though I was excited when I first stepped foot at the studios, I didn't even know how I was gonna eat every day, y'all. Okay, I had maybe just enough money for one meal a day, and I didn't know how I was gonna eat. But it didn't occur. I had never been on a full-blown film set before, so I didn't know they provided breakfast, snacks, and lunch, right? And the first day I get there, I get a little tour, and, I'm feeling excited to step foot and seeing how big it is, going through security and getting my little badge, and then, waiting to go to where I was going to be with the rest of the production assistants, and feeling super nervous. And I probably wasn't even dressed properly. I don't remember what I had on. I didn't take much pictures like that, because like I was just nervous and scared and afraid if I get caught with my phone that, I was going to get kicked out and I was going to get fired. And I didn't even have appropriate clothes, because whatever I had with me is what I had. And I didn't have any money to buy nothing new either. So I looked different. I had sandals sometimes, and that's a big no-no for a set. And I had dresses on sometimes, and it's like most people are wearing pants. As they should, because you're on set. There's cords everywhere. I just shrunk a lot, and I wasn't my friendly self. I wasn't my bold self, and I just felt really small all the time. Okay. I remember the first day, I think we had like a whole week before shooting started. And I don't know, the guy who was in charge of us, I felt like he always sent me to like random spaces, like to help. Like we did like a shooting testing with stand-ins for like lighting and sound and etc. So I got opportunity to always go there. We always have a walkie-talkie with us, so they're in our ears all the time. I don't know, it just felt like as an intern, I didn't really have a position or a job. I was just there. And it's like, and from time to time we'll do PA where we have to stand and, make sure nobody walks through the shot, and while the first AD yell in our ears all the time. I just always felt small, and I always felt like they were judging me because I wasn't dressed properly or something, or everybody seemed to be connected with somebody somewhere and I didn't know anybody, and I wasn't connected with anybody. I couldn't call on somebody to tell them to put me on. it just felt like everything was about who you know, and I knew no one. And once again, everybody seemed to have some type of level of experience, and I had none outside of school, you know. I saw Mr. Perry every day. Every time we shot, he walked on set, and he'll say, we'll be, obviously we have to be on set first. We have to be on set before the first AD get on set. And then we're on set, and everybody putting this, and they putting everything together, and you trying to see where you fit, and you trying to stand where they send you, whatever. And the first AD comes in and makes sure everything's okay and whatever, and we have to be ready before Mr. Perry get on set, because once he's on set, we're getting ready to roll. And he walks on set and he says good morning, and we say good morning back, and he makes his little joke. And every day he walked on set and he shot every scene, okay? And he prayed in the morning with us, and like literally bow your head for prayer. And he prayed, like, dear Heavenly Father, prayed, cover set, prayed. Like, to me, that blew my mind, because it's like, oh snap, I never even pray on my little set, and I'm obviously a Christian. But this man have a whole, whatever, how many piece of land, I'm all researching and put it somewhere for you guys, that he owns, and all these people work for him, and he just out here praying. Oh, okay. So I'm trying to beat the clock, like the 40-minute mark, and I don't think I'm gonna make it. So that really, I don't know, that really inspired me. There was one time he walked by me, he said, how you doing? And it was the best thing ever. I found out he was born in September, because I think the production was end of August to end of September, or end of August to the first week of October. I don't remember. But my birthday was there one time, and I dressed up. He has the same, we have birthday in the same month, and I thought that was like the biggest deal. One time he walked by me and he touched my shoulder, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never washing my shoulder ever again. He is so tall. I don't know the man like personally, but from the little experience on set, he seems very nice. And about his work, he comes on set to work and he leaves, whatever. Set runs just about 12 hours, but as an intern, I was only there for 9 to 5, so I left early, whatever. So there goes that. They had an event for like a rapping party that I wasn't invited to, and I was really hurt by that. There was one time he just gave everybody a bonus. Granted, when I found out there was a bonus that was going to happen, I didn't think I was qualified, because I was just an intern. When I got my last check and I saw that bonus in there, I was so happy, because there was an event that I was handling and I needed more money. And I literally said, God, if you can just give me this much money, I could do this event comfortably. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, when he ended up announcing the bonus, how much it was, I said, this is exactly what I need. If they're gonna take out tax, it needs to be this much left. And that's exactly what my paycheck was. You hear me? So that was like really like, so yeah, really the issue with the internship had nothing to do with Tyler Perry himself, had nothing to do with the studios, have everything to do with how the industry run, and how it seems like it's about who you know. And while I got there knowing no one, but I got there through the program, I think what really breaks my heart is the fact that I spent most of it shrinking. I spent most of it being shy, and I'm not even shy. I spent most of it feeling excited to be there, grateful to be there, but at the same time, like I didn't belong there. Like I don't deserve this. Like I shouldn't be here. Versus being who I am and shining. And I feel like although I had some people's numbers, I didn't really make an impression enough where if I were to call on them right now, or if they had a position, that I would be the person they call. And that's not me. The real me, which I will tell you guys on the later, but the real me, when I am confident and I am about my work, you're not gonna miss me. And I'm saying this as humble as possible, because I do my part and I do my job. And I often, even when I'm trying to hide, I often stand out, even when I'm not trying to. And I feel like I did the complete opposite there. And that makes me feel so, like I want to throw up every time I think about it. And I promised myself, and every time I think of Tyler Perry Studios and the experience, that's how I think, that's what I feel like. That I went out there and to an extent, that I wasted my time there by being insecure and feeling small versus enjoying it to my best. Like, God didn't put you there for you to be, whatever. But nevertheless, don't feel bad for me, y'all, because I do believe that the real reason why God sent me there was to see what he can do with absolutely nothing. Was for me to see what God can do with when someone is willing to suffer, is willing to for him and with them, is willing to obey and is willing to apply their gift to what God has called them to do.
Part.
I think God allowed me to walk that for me, to see with myself, because I am hands-on and I am visual, and having to walk that property. Every time I think about it, like, I walked Tyler Perry Studios before Tyler Perry Studios announced Tyler Perry Studios.
You did, girl.
I mean, like, before there was that big event where there was a lot of celebrity getting to see it. I walked that land.
Before they did.
I got to see, I met him, he touched my shoulder. I heard him pray every day, Monday to Friday for the whole 5 weeks I was there, I got to see set scenes, a lot of cameras, and seeing how those things run with my own eyes, and got to be there. And I think that was the God main purpose.
Yeah.
Because if he can do that for him, he can do it for me.
Ma'am.
And seeing it and being there is different than hearing about it.
It's not the same.
You can hear him talk about it, but until you've been on the set, really, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Seeing and experiencing and hearing the stories are not the same. So I don't think from God's perspective.
Yeah.
Now I am saying this to myself. Now I'm letting grace allowing me to comfort myself in that way.
Yeah.
That I think the real reason God allowed me is to be able to be and see and feel and experience. But the experience could have been much better had I rose up to the fact that you hear, meaning you belong. The fact that God allowed the open door means you belong. The fact that you're experiencing, meaning you're supposed to be there. So if God put you somewhere, don't let no insecurity tell you don't belong.
Period.
Because God put you there, So now moving forward, anytime God put me in a place, my goal is to rise up to the occasion and allow myself to fully enjoy the experience by being there.
Amen.
It doesn't mean, and I'm now getting this, like now in 2021, understanding this, and now in 2021, even this morning, what's today? The 30th? August 30th, 2031, as I record this morning, journaling. And I'm going to do a video of audio regarding this topic specifically. Journaling how we are light and we ought to shine bright, and we aren't lit up to be hidden under a table. We aren't lit up to say, oh, I'm not as bright as the other light. Our job is to only brighten and enlighten and illuminate the space God put us in by just being who God created us to be. I'm just now getting this, but let it be clear that if I'm just now getting this from 2018, from that internship, when I left, I didn't leave my insecurities there. I didn't get it. I just left with regrets and beat up myself about it for a really long time. And I'm learning to grace myself now. So that means from that time in 2018, all the way up to this point, while it's like I'm catching up with understanding how we show up, how we take up space, and how we experience the spaces that God put us. I spent these years still operating in these insecurities of small and inadequacy and hiding for no reason. And children of God shouldn't act that way. So these are my regrets at Tyler Perry Studios. And I wanted to go back so bad, but that's another story for the other videos, and how I felt like God tricked me using that. or using him to stay in Georgia, I think. But that's why we're in here. We're already at 40 minutes and I don't think there's much to edit from here. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Deuces.